G'day, Lynn. How you going?
Oh, hi, Brian. How are you?
Oh, I'm really well, thank you. What's the nature of the rally, Lynn? What are you up to particularly?
Basically, it's come to a point where Tasmanians are frustrated with the accessibility of cannabis medicines. You know, we've got the government coming out saying that they're going to provide us with a controlled access scheme, but that's not due to come online until 2017. And, you know, the demand is really high. So it's basically a gathering just to get a heap of like-minded people together and chat about where we go to from here.
Okay. There were some changes in New South Wales recently, where they will allow a certain number of children who suffer from quite serious epilepsy to legitimately import cannabis products. I think from Israel, from memory. Is that something that would be useful here, Lynn?
I think it'd be really nice if they put it on the table. I mean, some of these kids are very medically complex, and from what I'm hearing, some parents would be happy to try these extracts that are coming from other jurisdictions. You know, for example, what they're doing with the Epidiolex from the UK for the kids in New South Wales. So it'd be wonderful if our health minister would put something on the table for children here.
Okay, so at the moment there's still this kind of legal limbo land where I've been personally guaranteed, as have you, by both police and politicians, that there'll be no criminal action taken against people such as yourself who are procuring, I'll leave it at that, but procuring medicinal cannabis for your son Jeremy in this case. So, look, what's the very next thing that the government needs to do by way of at least trying to ease your mind a bit, Lynn, in terms of being arrested tomorrow?
I think the issue isn't getting arrested. The issue is the fact that if the police come across, if they discover cannabis, they're obliged to confiscate. That's the issue, Brian. They take our medicine. So, and that's happened in the state in the last couple of months. We spoke about that briefly before. Yeah. So I think what we would like is some sort of amnesty whereby we can be registered. We want to do this legitimately, and we've been asking Mr. Hodgman for several months now for assistance to be able to do this legally. I mean, at the end of the day, we just want to make medicine.
Yeah, no,
there's nothing else to it. It's just medicine. So we don't want to sell it, you know. We don't want to be involved with the black market, and we want to see other Tasmanians be offered some form of protection.
There's no doubt this is going to happen. It's just the time frame involved is distressing for everyone who's currently using the substances illegally.
Indeed, indeed. And if when the controlled access scheme does come online, if that will be using Australian grown and extracted medicines, that could go into a decade before, you know, people have medicine in their hands. So, you know, I think there's measures that they could take now to alleviate the suffering of Tasmanians.
In the longer term, I think there's a potential new industry here as well as we, head off into that next decade, as you talk about, Lynn, longer term stuff. There's huge economic potential in this for Tasmania, given our experience already growing poppies. So, Lynn, okay, so just rattle through the details of the rally for me, can you, Lynn? When's that? It's 12 on Saturday.
Noon on Parliament Lawns. We have the lovely Heather Gladman coming down from Gippsland, who's been charged for cultivating medicines. So she'll come and chat to us, and she's a lovely lady. Lara Giddings will be chatting, and Mr. Ferguson's been invited. So he may turn up and, you know, have a listen to the people, which would be great. Okay.
All right, no worries. So if you have an interest in the medicinal cannabis issue, so Parliament House Lawns, noon on Saturday, obviously in Hobart. And how many people are you expecting there, Lynn?
Oh, it's hard to say. We would hope we get quite a few numbers there, but you can guarantee that us, you know, the advocates will be there in, you know, rain, hail or shine, and we'll keep fighting.
All right, we'll just keep maintaining the pressure. It just seems to be a sensible thing to do. Look, my priority is pretty simple here. It's the kids and their families. I mean, you guys have a hard enough time dealing with the disabilities that your children have to be sort of pushed off into this quasi-criminal realm to try and get effective medicine for them is just silly. Lynn, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Cheers, thanks,
okay,
Brian.
Lynn Cleaver, who is a medicinal cannabis campaigner, long time, and her son Jeremy. Look, I had much of his body. Here's the problem with Jeremy. Just really quickly, he's a man in his mid-20s now, and much of the upper half of his body is held together with titanium and pins. The medication he takes to stop the seizures that he's having that the non-cannabis medication, okay, causes bone density loss. So when he does actually have a seizure and whacks himself against the ground, he's breaking bones, massively breaking bones. It's a terribly, terribly sad story. And the medicinal cannabis is the only thing that reduces the seizures. So, look, it is a common sense change. It will happen. There's obviously some foot dragging by those who believe, perhaps rightly, that it's a slippery slope to the legalisation of